seemed cooler in my head. Today we're going to install Ciro3D's Bat Blade fairing lights. This goes on a batwing fairing on a Harley Davidson. It goes on the edge of the fairing. They have a white LED light with an amber turn signal, so it kind of gives a little flare on there and definitely helps with safety, especially at night. And actually the white lights on the front will help you during the day because it'll make it easier to see it. And again, just like last month, we're going to be doing this install on my friend Corey's bike here. This is a 2016 Harley Davidson Ultra Limited. They also make this for the earlier models. So they have it for the 96 to 05 batwing fairing, and they also have it for the 06 to 13 batwing fairing. And for your ease of use, I'll put a link to each one of those in the description of this video. So depending on what year of bike you have, you can just click that link and take you right to the right product.
If you're new here and you like what you see, go ahead and give us a subscribe and a like and a comment below.
So inside the box, you've got each light strip here. These come in a little plastic sheathing. It is so hot out today though that this rubberized coating on here was sticking to the plastic, and it took a little bit of time for me to get that out. So I left it off so you guys don't have to watch me struggle just quite as hard. Obviously, Ciro always sends these colored instructions that are great. This is gonna be pretty easy install. It's one page. We've also got Y connectors for the lights. Plug and play, quick and easy. And we also have some zip ties and some dielectric grease, which we'll use on the end of the plug to help seal that connection, lube it up a little bit, make a good connection. You're gonna need a couple things. You're gonna need some painter's tape to kind of mark out where you're at and kind of tape it into place and make sure you get them equal. You're gonna need a 13mm or a 1/2 inch wrench. They are one and the same. And the other thing we're gonna probably need is like some glass cleaner, ammonia-based glass cleaner in the instructions. This will help it adhere very well to the fairing. Obviously, the first thing we're gonna do is clean this. I have some invisible glass here. You can use whatever you have. Denatured alcohol does work too. One thing you're gonna wanna do is test it on your paint just to make sure it's gonna be safe with your paint. Do that in like an inconspicuous spot. Just, you know, because if it does pull the paint off, you want it to be somewhere where you can't see it. So I've already tried this on my personal bike, so I know it's good. We're just gonna spray a little bit on a rag, and we're just gonna wipe up right here where that blade's gonna go. Get any wax, dirt, oils. This bike might be a little bit of a challenge with these vents here. You can take those off if you want to. I'm gonna try to do it without pulling them off, but if we have to yank them off real quick, we will. The Bat Blade lights will fit underneath these louvered vents, so no need to get rid of them or anything like that. They will fit in conjunction with those. So right here in the middle of the light, you can see an R and an L. So this is gonna be as you're sitting on the bike. The L is gonna be on the left side, R is gonna be on the right side as you're going down the road, not as you're looking at the front of the bike. It gets a little confusing once in a while. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to put this wire connection right down here the wiring is gonna come out of this bar right here. So I wanna try to get this wiring connection as close to that as possible. Kind of lay it out, see how far up it goes. I'm gonna try to set these so that's right on the edge of that. I'm gonna take a little painter's tape, and I'm just gonna kind of tape it in place, just as a rough guesstimate of where I want it. You're gonna wanna run this, when you put it on for good, you're gonna wanna run it right here on the edge of the paint. Just like that, so it's right on the edge. I'm gonna have this end right in about the middle of this bar here. And you know, you can kind of adjust wherever you want that, but the reason I'm gonna do that is because you can see here, our LED lights end right in this area here. That's right about where this light here is. So that way you're not wasting a bunch of lights behind your passing lamp, and you're getting to see all of these lights kind of out in the open where they should be. And I'm just gonna do the same to the other side real quick. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna step back a little bit and just kind of eyeball it and make sure they're level with each other. Make sure they're in the same orientation and they look even as you're going down the road. That way, everybody likes stuff that's symmetrical, am I right? I'm kind of cheating and I'm using my bracket for these vents. If you have a Street Glide and you don't have those, you won't have as easy of a time trying to figure it out. But you can measure down, if you have a pinstripe or something, you can measure down and try to get that at the exact same spot. So then what you're gonna wanna do is take some more painter's tape. If you don't have painter's tape and you live out in the boonies, I'll put a link to the painter's tape that I use in the description of the video also, and you can just order it. Is you wanna mark where that's gonna be. So I've got these set right here on both sides where I want it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this on the paint. And then when I start this, I'll just butt it up to the edge of this painter's tape, and then I know it'll be in the right position when I need it to be. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the adhesive backing off just a little bit, and I'm just gonna stick the edge of that on there, right at the edge of this tape where we marked where we want it to be. I'm just gonna put the edge on, and then we're just gonna slowly pull the backing off and run all the way down that paint line, right on the inside of that fairing, the outer fairing, all the way down until it's stuck on. I'm kind of holding it as I go, just holding it for about 10 seconds. Every 2 inches or so, I hold it for a while, and then you can continue on. That just kind of helps the adhesive stick. All right, like we said before, in the bag is just a little bit of grease and plenty of wire. One for each side. All right, now we just gotta wire them up with our little Y connectors here. This is just gonna plug into your stock wiring, and you're gonna have to probably tuck all that up in behind, but we'll show you how to do that. Okay, if you've never had your turn signal bar off, it's just 2 acorn nuts on the side. And then the bar just pulls out, and your wiring is right behind it. Okay, you're just gonna push this little tab down, and it should pull out just like that. This is a new connection with a Ciro Y on here also, because we just put that windshield trim on the windshield of his bike last month, so we're gonna have a Y to a Y, no big deal. So I've already got dielectric grease on here from last time, so I'm not gonna put any more on, but just put a little around on the connection there, and it'll help it get a good connection. On this particular bike, it has this skirt here on the upper forks. It's just a cover. We're gonna pull that cover off because there's not a gap under here big enough to allow that wire to go through, except for, so right here you can see a gap. It's where we're gonna roll our wire into. I'll zoom out here a little bit and you can kind of see where exactly that's located. I'm just gonna pop this skirt off real quick, see what's behind there, see if this will make this any easier. I did loosen the fairing, actually I took the fairing bolts out, it's just kind of sitting here right now. Okay, what I did is on my Y, I'm on my short Y, I plugged the Bat Blade light into the short part of this, and that way I can run the long part up out for the blinker, the turn signal bar, and then all I have to do is figure out what to do with these wires, which should be pretty easy. You can just zip tie them up inside there, and you can actually get to that from inside between the tank and the inner fairing. You can see that there's nothing covering that, so you can get up in there with a zip tie and just kind of hold everything where it needs to be. So that's what I'm going to do next is I'm going to feed this wire in through, and then we'll tie that stuff up. We'll put the turn signal bars on, and we should be done. A little bit of a struggle getting everything tucked up in there. So when you put the skirt, if your bike has this skirt, when you put it on, you're going to want to make sure you don't pinch the wires putting it on. I'm going to watch each side, kind of set it into place. Just snug them up a little bit. All right, since I loosened up the fairing bolts, I'm going to put those back in real quick. That way this is all cinched down well. So thankfully we didn't have to take the fairing all the way off, but I did loosen it just to kind of help with that skirt. We're just going to plug that into the other end of our Y that they sent. tuck that wire back up in there. Like I said, you can access these wires from in here. This is where they're all at. I'm just going to put a little zip tie up, kind of hold them together a little bit just so they don't get in the way of any steering. I mean, they should be fine. They're just kind of hanging out. I'm just going to loosely zip tie one to the stock cable under here so they don't fall down. And the only thing is, you're going to want to make sure that you can go lock to lock after you get those, just to make sure that no wires are getting stretched or, you know, over tightened. Plenty of room. So that's pretty much it, guys. Once again, that's the Ciro3D LED lighted bat blades for the batwing fairing on a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Links down in the description once again, and thanks for watching this video. I hope it helped you out. We'll catch you in the next one.